Hey there, it's Coach Evans with LacrosseGoalietips.com and LacrosseGoalieUniversity.com. And I just want to, I got a couple questions this week via email about equipment. And I just wanted to touch on something. I've, I've been really disappointed lately at what I've seen available for goalies when it comes to chest protectors and just overall equipment. If you've heard me talk for any length of time, you know that I'm a big proponent of protecting lacrosse goalies. And I think lacrosse goalies are really confused, right? We're not a player and we're not a goalie. Like we're not protected like a goalie. And this year when I was watching the World Series, yes, I watched a little baseball. Not a huge fan, but when the World Series is on, you got to watch, right? But I always watch catchers, right? And it's funny, like catchers to me have more protection on them than most lacrosse goalies do, frankly, like all lacrosse goalies do. Yet it's a softer ball, right? It's a softer ball comparatively to lacrosse ball. It is thrown about just as hard, or a lacrosse ball can be thrown faster typically. But a catcher in baseball has more protection on them than a lacrosse goalie does, and this floors me. I don't understand because I watched a pitch thrown in like Game 6. It was thrown in the dirt, and the catcher immediately goes into what I call block mode. They're not trying to pick up the ball. They're not trying to get their glove on it like we do in lacrosse. We try to like pick it up nice and clean. We try to get the head of our stick on everything. No, he like goes into block mode. His hand kind of comes up, and he ended up blocking it with his knee, which was fully protected by a shin guard, right? And then he picks up the ball and he's looking at second base to see if that guy's going to steal. But because he was protected, there was no, a lacrosse goalie would probably, the equivalent of a lacrosse goalie would have reached only their glove hand to the ball and probably would have missed it because the ball went by them, right? So in terms of gear, this year I was looking at chest protectors and things like that, and I'm saddened by what's going on with all the major brands of lacrosse equipment because the goalie needs more. And a couple of years ago we had that protection, and then for some reason, it's going. People aren't buying it, and so they're going to change their designs, right? But the thing is I know a protected goalie is going to be a better goalie in the cage. And that's why it shocks me to see a catcher in baseball who, one, knows where the ball is supposed to be going, right? Has more protection on. Because now granted, a baseball player can, a batter can tip a ball that's going to hit that goalie in the head or hit the catcher in the head or off the shoulder, what have you. But to me, there's no excuse why goalies shouldn't have the same type of chest and shoulder protection that at least the catcher in baseball has. It just floors me, right? Goalies are confused by trying to stop every ball with that one hand, basically, that top hand holding the head of their stick, right? They're trying to catch everything. And I know that goalies' save percentages will go up if they're better protected. So stop being pretty in the cage, be a little bit more ugly, but also for young parents, and I recommended this twice this last week to parents, they were having a hard time getting a hold of lacrosse chest protectors. I said, you know what, forget it. Go out and go buy a baseball chest protector that fits your son or your daughter because it will have the shoulder caps. It will be cut around the shoulder girdle to be able to throw. I would argue that a lacrosse goalie doesn't have nearly the dynamic throwing motion that a baseball catcher does, right? And yet that chest protector, they managed to have a much better fit. I also don't like these chest protectors that are skin tight. They're more like they clip on, but they're more like almost like they're neoprene. They're really secure to the chest. When it comes to Commotio Cordis and all those threats for a lacrosse goalie, I like to see some space, some padding, right? Some ability where if a goalie gets their shoulders rounded before a ball impacts them just enough to get that chest protector to lift off their chest, it's gonna be much better. So again, I looked at hockey goalies, baseball catchers, lacrosse goalies, and lacrosse goalies. I tell you, man, we're confused, and it's not going the right direction. We need to have better protection for our goalies. And so if you're a parent looking for gear right now, My recommendation for a lot of young goalies is this: go get a baseball catcher, a chest protector, get on some baseball shin guards under some sweatpants, and you will be a better goalie. Here's the test, all right? If you've watched this far and you're a high school goalie or college goalie and you're still listening to me, one, congratulations. But two, do this test, right? This is how to know if you're protected or not. Get in the cage today without your stick, all right? Without your stick, and have your buddies shoot on you from outside 15 yards. And have them take all the shots low. I'm like, bouncing like right at your feet or right at the top of the crease, and you've got no stick. What do? How confident are you in the cage? If you're like most of my goalies, you would never do that because you think you got to catch everything with your stick. And that, I'm sorry, from a goaltending perspective, that's wrong. Your responsibility as a goalie is to put anything in front of the ball that's going to stop it or otherwise direct it from outside, from not crossing goal line extended, right? Or from the goal line, right? You've got to get something in front of it. If that's your kneecap, are you going to do it? You may do it, but are you going to hobble all day or for the next 3 days, right? Like, what's the point? Get some protection on, right? And you'll be a better goalie. Cool thing is, if you put on shin guards and a chest protector that you feel confident in, and you had your buddy shoot on you from 15 yards out, you'd stop everything. You'd throw everything in front of it. Go try out a hockey goalie upper body protector and hop in the cage, hop in the lacrosse goal and stop some balls. You will have a blast, right? But you won't know that unless you do it, all right? So get away from, and goalies will say, oh, I'm hot or whatever. Like, are you a goalie or are you a goalie who's worried about temperature, right? Step it up. Get the gear on, and as I said, I'm right now I'm not really happy with a lot of the protection I see available in the market for lacrosse goalies, and I steer people to baseball chest protectors. No one's gonna know. You got it under a jersey anyway, so just put it on and deal with it, right? So I hope this strikes a chord. Do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Feel free to email me at coachedwards@lacrossegoalietips.com. Facebook this, share it, tweet it, like it. I'd really appreciate it. And I appreciate doing this every week. So thanks so much. And I appreciate you guys for sending me great questions. Okay, so I hope this struck a chord. If you got questions for me, Coach Edwards at lacrossegoalietips.com. And if you're not a member of lacrossegoalieuniversity.com, do me a favor, click on the link above. Come see us. Join Lacrosse Goalie University, where we can get a ton of coaching in and get more hands-on coaching for you and get those goalie critiques done as well. All right, thanks again. Talk to you soon.